Hello, good morning. Morning. Welcome to the live stream. It's Tuesday, March 19th. We're here for the New York AM session. Robin, Yanus, Richard, good morning, everyone. Go, Sniper, Anna, good morning. Good morning, everyone. All right, let me just go ahead and get my screen set up and get situated here. Okay, these are the levels at the end of yesterday's session. We were looking for where price may go at 1600. Looks like it did make it to all of them just after the closing bell. So you'd have had to have been able to stay in the trade um, and carry over into the next session. Otherwise, you had to end your session at 410. All right. Go and check the sessions. Okay, Asia high is taken. Asia low taken over here. The London low also taken when Asia low was taken. London high is still available. Mark that one up. Okay, yesterday's Asia low, same as previous day low there. And obviously the previous day high is pretty far away. Okay. Here we go. All right, Martin, good morning. Welcome. London Kill Zone. It looks like it. Looks like so. Got a turtle soup here and a big run up. It's about 60 or 70 points up and then right back down. But you guys probably missed the piece back down. You probably caught the one up. Yeah, happy Tuesday, Antonio. Good morning. You in long from 114. All right, Sniper. Not bad. Good job. All right, looks like we had ourselves a breaker form here. which it closed out of, traded back into. Sniper was able to get into that trade, so good for him. Oh, you got in at 116. Robin. Oh, did you get in on this candle here and then you quit here? Or did you just quit early? Like somewhere in here when it was pulling back, you just took whatever profits you had already accumulated. All right, Queen, good morning. Hey, Molly, good morning. All right, let's look and see. What do we have as far as news this morning? All right, Tuesday, we only have building permits, and that was already released at 8:30. So it came in just above forecast. It's medium impact. Let's go back and see what happened, if anything, at 8:30. Okay, so this one we got the reversal when the news was announced. All right, 115. Okay. Yeah, Queen, I was going to ask if you got in. I figured you did. If you were watching sitting here watching the charts, I figured you did get in. I thought it would turn. Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah, I guess we'll get a run up to midnight open. This will be sort of the end of a buy model. Yeah, just remember, Robin, when you're in these trades and they're running up, you can exit at any of these swing points at any moment where you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel like maybe it's going to reach all the way to the top. You can just pick one of these points to retrace, or pick one of these to exit your position or scale out, or however you want to do it. So it was at 26, 36, and 57. 26, this would have been just a short scalp. You would end up with about 10 points because you would have entered right here at the breakers. So you'd have got 10, 12 points on the first one, or you could have gotten 20 on the second one. But it's okay. You saw a good level to get in at, so at least you picked a good spot, and now you just go the next step, and I'm sure you'll get it next time. It could be. It could be either of those. This is for Brandon. Even the manipulation phase still delivers profits to those on the right side of the market at that time. So yeah, it may not run all the way up. It may not, move into the heavens, but entering here at 14. It's already delivered 30 points. We have a gap here it could pull into, or like I said, the midnight open. All right, so you're looking at almost, if it makes it to midnight open, you're looking at just over 60 points there. Hey Jay, good morning. No, don't worry, Robin. You'll get there. You will get there. Hey Max, welcome to the channel. Good to have you. I'm sure we've had some other people from Brazil before, so you may not be the only one here, but at the moment you might be. But either way, welcome and thanks for introducing yourself. All right, while we're waiting, let's go ahead and just take a peek at where the other indices are, where they've been trading. All right, so we see dollar did finally make it into that upper fair value gap that we were speaking about yesterday. Let me get back to my notes here. All right, so this is good. I wanted to see dollar push up earlier in the week. We do have FOMC tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So what I'm hoping is FOMC is what drives the dollar down, and in turn, that gives us bullish prices on our indices. So we'll probably have to wait for that until, I don't know, later today or tomorrow. But so far the dollar's looking good with Monday bullish prices. We can see pretty much all day yesterday and even overnight. We had bullish prices just until 5, 6 o'clock this morning. All right, so it looks like indices have all found some sort of support here and are pushing higher. It still has a ways to go before we can say that this is bullish momentum. But right now it is pushing, and I want to highlight that Nasdaq is inside of a bearish fair value gap. So let's pay attention there and see if Nasdaq can get out. We see the Dow breaking free now, sweeping this short-term high here. We have not seen the same on these two. So we want to see if S&P and Nasdaq can catch up and have some sort of similar movement. Maybe the opening bell will bring that. And that's happening in just 7 seconds. So let me switch back over. We'll watch the bell together. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We might retest the breaker again. Mm. Mm. Cancel this limit order here. It's moved too far away. Yep. For anyone who took the breaker as a entry model just now on the opening bell, congratulations. You should be largely in profit now. Probably to the tune of around 30 points at least, 35. Hey, Templar, good morning. Okay, made a high by a point and a half maybe. Yeah, the only thing that I'm looking at now that makes me not trust this is that we're in a 1 hour SIBI just above us. Actually, we're inside of it. Okay. All right, not a bad opening bell. Delivered this breaker delivered 40 points twice. Now we'll let price settle and we'll figure out where our opening range is. Hey, Chuck, good morning. All right, where we are now. Remember yesterday morning, we were talking about regular trading hours and how big that gap was because it essentially just bought up from the reopening of the market. Okay, it's a little hard to see, but Friday at 4:15, when the regular trading hours closed, that value is at 18,074, and we are pushing towards that value now, 18,074. Right, and this little lime green area you see at the bottom of the screen, that's a new week opening gap. So that's where price reopened, and you can see that that's where 18,074 is. So that's where the regular trading hour gap. We had a huge gap yesterday. It pretty much bought up all the way until just around lunchtime, and then we saw a price start to decline in the afternoon, and definitely at 3 to 4 o'clock when Nvidia did its announcement. And we see now, even after hours, price is still trying to close in that gap, and it's pretty much done. It is about 10 points away. There's the gap. The gap is now closed. All right. And when I switched over to regular trading hours, the reason why it looked so weird was because we just did the exact opposite. We closed yesterday at 4:15, somewhere around, I don't know, I'd say probably 18,230. And now we open up at the opening bell here. At 143. So there's another 100-point gap above us, a regular trading hour gap as well. So we may see price buy up a little bit later this afternoon or later this morning, and it's to close in that gap. So keep your eyes open just in case price wants to recover. Up, it's at 18,060 max. Hey, Cool Calm Collective. Good morning, Vivian. Good morning. Hey, Miss Healthy. Good morning. Julio, good morning. Welcome to the channel. Stop for the day. Okay. Hey, Max. Good job. All right, TJ, good morning. Welcome. You in a good place? What's going on, TJ, man? Juicy long here. I'm going to hold off. Hey, Zach, good morning. Welcome. Be back and go for a refill of coffee. I'll be back in just a moment. You're back on me. Okay. Well, I'll let this one go. Yeah, sniper. Still short bias. It was just I was looking for a 25 point buy up there. But overall, yeah, market structure is still showing a short bias. It may run now because it had the bounce off of the 830. All right, so we've crossed over 10 o'clock now. Anyone looking for silver bullet? This is your time. And so S&P and Nasdaq are still looking bearish, whereas the Dow has completely flipped its market structure on the hourly. Yeah, Nasdaq and S&P, I get a feeling they're waiting for a breakout. Nice. All right, congrats to anyone who was able to hang on and stay in that long. Sorry about that, Jay. Good morning, JR. How's it going? Uh, yeah, I got messed up, Queen, by not getting the optimal entry because I was waiting for the macro at 9:50, and the optimal entry that I saw was the minute before, and I was like, shit, I need to wait, I need to wait, I need to wait. And then it started moving away at the end, and so I got in thinking it was going to run away as opposed to waiting, or I should have just took it a minute early. Um, but I wanted to try to hold on to my rules and just ended up getting an entry that wasn't as good as I would have liked. Right. So I was closer to getting in at 080 as opposed to getting in at 70. Right. And that could have completely changed the outcome of my trade. Um, yeah, for me, Jay, I mean, and I'm as guilty as anyone. Um, there are really two things to having better entries, because really that's what it is. It's having a better entry. Um, because I notice whenever I get a bad entry, I can't wait to move my stop to break even because I don't trust the trade based on my entry. So the best thing to do would be the first thing would be make sure you're doing limit orders, because you never get a good feel on a market execution. So that's the first thing. And the second is just this is something that you're going to have to work on yourself with through back testing and just through your rules for your trading. Is you just have to accept the risk of the trade. So if you originally enter your trade and you have a 15-point stop loss, then you've accepted that potentially you could lose 15 points or $300 or whatever it is on your trade. And so coming to terms with that risk will allow you to leave your stop loss where it is, and then you set up rules for when you move it. Whether you say, okay, I have this first level that's 15 points. Once it reaches 15 points, then I shift my stop loss. Or once it takes out a swing high, creates another swing low, then I move my stop loss, that kind of thing. So you'll have to make some rules for yourself. Yeah, no. Yeah, Jay, I'm still working on myself as well. So you're not alone. And it's really that's the last phase towards profitability is once you have zeroed in on knowing what it looks like and where it's at, what time it forms, you know how to enter, then it's just managing the trade after that. So we're almost there. Yeah, Jay. So in that case, so I'll just show you where I was making my mistake. So I was entering, let's say I was entering on this candle right here, the 951, right? And then the next candle would move up. And so now I'm in 10 points profit. So I see it over $200 or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's my cue. Let's slide the stop loss up. But it hasn't done its retracement yet. And that's when I got taken out every time. So in hindsight, what I should have done was after it makes its high, I know it's going to have to retrace because it swept this high right here, right? Sweeping this high is going to force a retracement. So what I need to do is I either need to wait for the retracement and get in on the retracement, or I need to keep my stop loss down here until this high is then broken on this candle. Then I can shift my stop loss right here, which would then be protected by the next retracement and moving up. If it's not protected and price comes all the way down and sweeps this low, then that's fine because then it's no longer bullish and it's switching bearish anyway. And so I want to be out. So in hindsight, that's how I should have managed the trade. Um, and when I'm thinking about it and when I'm back testing, that is how I do it. It's just sometimes when you're in the moment, it's not always as clear. Okay, so we had a small little breaker here, little tiny one. And in the macro, it traded back down at 950 and 951 and 955. And then it tapped it at 958. So the macro delivered 4 different entries for this little breaker here to then take up into one of these fair value gaps or possibly to the equal high. Right, so you'd have been looking at getting in anywhere from 71 up to about 80, and TPs would have been either in this gap oops, or this gap, or as I mentioned, these equal highs at 152. Right, first gap would have given you anywhere from 20 to 30 points. Next gap would have given you anywhere from 40 to 50. And if you make it all the way to the top, then obviously you're getting between 70 and 80. And these type of entries, I get this question at least once a day where someone says, how many times does the breaker set up to deliver? And it's probably, every hour, every other hour, you'll get a setup similar to this, to where it'll give you 30 or 40 points of range that you can look for an entry and an exit. This one was nice because it's right at also at the new week opening gap. So it's a confluence of another PD array. Yep. And the time was right. It was in the macro period. So it also gave you that confluence as well. So there's a lot of things working in our favor on this trade setup. No, I was talking about this bullish breaker here. No, if you're talking about what it rejected, you're talking about these two levels. No, these are fair value gaps. Well, I was saying these could be your TP. These could be the exits that you take if you had entered down here. Yeah. Yep, right at 75%. So, like I said, when I was pointing out on the 1 minute, those fair value gaps, the bearish ones, that those could have been um, areas where you scaled out or just collapsed your trade and took your profit. All of them were delivering from origin at least 20 on the lowest end and up to 50 on the higher end. So it's a pretty solid trade, even though it didn't have to go into the heavens. Just needed to buy up a little bit. Yeah, I do too. I've been monitoring the others because the dollar is finally starting to break some lows, which is good. It was looking very bearish to me anyway. In fact, while we're waiting here on this candle, let's go ahead and check that out right quick. So if you take a look at the far left, the US dollar here, this hour, it's broken lows from the last 3 hours and it's continuing to push. It does have a bullish fair value gap here, but um, price looks pretty bearish here. So I'm looking for price to push through this first one at least and get down to where there's an order block, and then we'll see how it performs there. This is the Dow that we saw break bullish. It's taking out the short-term low or short-term high that was right here, which became a protected high after the breakdown here. And this type of bearish action here, these candles from this morning, right? So taking out this high does definitely flip the Dow back bullish. As if it ever, I don't know if it ever was bearish. Let's see. It may have flipped bullish here on this candle. And this was just a retracement back in. Let's measure this. Okay, so we're at 75% retracement on the bullish leg. Okay, that makes more sense now. All right, so we got about an 88% retracement on the bullish leg here for NQ. Yeah, let's see if we can't protect the low from last hour. Or if we do sweep it just by a couple points, maybe not by a lot. All right, let's go back. I think we owe it to ourselves to put here the New York low. All right, so the New York high is the midnight open. Okay. All right, lime green area again is the new week opening gap. So this is the opening price at 1800 on Sunday. Bullish candles next to the gaps not considered breakers. No, not necessarily. Marcel. So this is for Marcel. Yep. Yeah. So Marcel, the way breakers, a bullish breaker, it starts with a low. Whoops. Right. Starts with a low. Then you have to put in a high. Then you have to put in a lower low. Right. So it must be lower than this one. Then, in reference to the high, you then need to put in a higher high. Okay. So you swept the low and you swept the high. So put that there, and then we'll put one here. Right. So you had a low that was swept. You had a high that was swept. This entire range is the breaker. Right. So then you just be looking for, after it closes above, then you just be looking for a retracement back in for a push out. Right. And so that's what you see here. You see price made a low. Oops. Then it made a high. Then it made a lower low. Then it made a higher high. Okay. And then, oops, sorry. Then we took the retracement back in. This goes here. We took the retracement back in for a move out. Candle body sitting right on top of the breaker. On the consequent encroachment of the breaker, candle body sitting right on it. Oh yeah. I saw yesterday he had it on schedule to come out today, so I'll have to check out his new video, which said, I think it was reviewing the unicorn model specifically on the 5-minute time frame. So, which I know is near and dear to your heart. Oh, why didn't I take that entry? Silly me. Yes, Jonathan. So I like to find, I take the unicorn whenever it presents itself, right? So I mark it up, but I like it when, if you're familiar with ICT macros, the last 10 minutes of the hour and then the first 10 minutes of the next hour, I like it when price dips into the range and activates the trade during that time. In this case, it did. There's 950, and then here is 1010. I know it's really faint, but I'll redraw it. All right, so this is the time frame that we're looking at in between here. And in between this time, it dipped in right here on at 950. It dipped in and hit the consequent encroachment. The next candle also dipped in, and then we had a few candles left. 955, it came down, and here at 958, it touched right on it. So I like those entries because it happened during the time period that I'm looking for things to happen. Plus, when things happen during the macro, generally prices has the clamps taken off so it can start moving, and it'll move towards a target at that time. So in this case, what happened during this macro is it went and it grabbed all of the fair value gaps here all the way to the top, right? So you wouldn't have been able to take this trade all the way up, but you would have been able to get in at around 18,070 at the best, or at worst, you would have got in at 18,080, and you still would have gotten up to 18,120. So you'd have got anywhere from 40 to 50 points without it running to the heavens. So I do like the unicorn model, and I like it during this time period. But sometimes I end up missing an entry because it's not during that time period. And so you have to try to balance that out where you're not missing too many entries, but you are sticking to a plan that you've made for yourself. And so that's kind of what I'm wrestling with. Okay, so this breaker is on the 1 minute. So just keep in mind, the 1 minute is going to be less reliable than the higher time frames. But where did it occur? So as you're watching price drop, right, you're looking for a shift in or change in state of delivery. So you're looking for a swing high to be broken. And let me go ahead and delete this stuff. Okay. So let me make it a little larger just so we can see the wicks. All right. So price is trailing down, and we can see all the highs are respected. None of the highs are being broken. Here to here. And then we had this one broken. So when this high was broken, now we have a high with a lower high to the left and a lower high to the right. So now we have a swing point that price can take. Then it made another low. So it swept this low here, breaking through. So now on the way back up, it's this candle right here at 949. Oh, sorry. It needs to pass this one. Okay, same one, same candle. So at 949, we crossed through. And if you weren't satisfied, like that looked like it's too close, like it's right on, it is a little bit above, although it may look like it's right on the line. It's a little above. So you could have taken an entry anytime after because that confirmed the breaker. So your breaker would be from the low to the high. And stretched across. So your entry really could have been as early as, yeah, 940. And this is the one I was looking at, 949. I was like, it's not in the breaker yet. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not in the macro. So I can't take it now. And then as it was moving up at the end, I ended up jumping in and getting an entry around 18,080 when I really wanted 18,070. And so that was my flaw there. But this is where the change in state of delivery as well as the market structure shift happened. And it may be that if you don't consider this one, then you would have taken this one and said, okay, now the market structure has shifted. And that's 951. It's inside of the macro. And then the next retracement could have been your entry at 955. Oops. Okay. So this was 75% retracement, and then this is around the 50% level. Yep, right at 50. Yep, even the candle body right at the 50% level. Let's go back and see. All right, back down into the same level, back to the same breaker. Another 20 points so far. Oh, okay. Studying those videos. Which videos talk about those? Hey, Ray, good morning. What's up? Magma and JAT. Okay. Okay. I don't think I've ever heard of Magma or NGAT, but I'll check them out. Yeah. Well, my hopes is this back and forth is to allow the entry to take place during the next macro. I've during my back testing sessions, I've seen that where an entry from a macro has stretched over 2 periods, and in the middle, it's kind of consolidated or bounced back and forth, and then it waits for the next hour, and then it finally took off. I've seen that happen a couple of times, so we'll see if that happens today. needs to hold on for about another 12 minutes, so we'll see. No. Someone else. Okay. Wow. Okay. Market structure in a 1 minute time frame. Yeah, and it seems like they take small wins, but they have, lots of capital, so they're copy trading like 10 accounts or so, and so if you make 500, that turns into 5,000. Yep. Yeah, in the way they trade, you don't even need to catch the big move. You need to identify a couple small bounces that you can trust, and you just go with those. Hey, Dorcas, good morning. How's it going? Yeah, Martin, it does look like it's been ranging for the last hour. Mm, one or two trades, and that's enough. Yep. Not bad, Templar. Good job. Hey, we got a sweep at the high now. Social Trader 2. I feel like I've heard of that one before. Yeah, we definitely have a market structure shift if we can close above up here. We have a market structure shift there. Um, Problem is we have you'll be in the middle of a bearish fair value gap there on the hour. So that's the only apprehension about looking at some sort of entry up here. $66. You're right. Well, I guess if you say we took liquidity by trading into 50% into consequent encroachment, is that what you mean by we took liquidity? Hmm. Well, in that case, we'll likely get some sort of retracement after sweeping this high, or if it's not that one, then it's going to be this one. After sweeping one of these, if not both, it's going to be a retracement, so that might be a good place to enter. 18,140. All right, so it's about 70 points above that breaker. Anyone who took the last entry that it delivered. Anyone who got in between 1020 and 1035. Well, the good news is here on the 5 minute, this fair value gap here, consequent encroachment is about the upper limits of the 1 hour. So if we make it here, then we know we're on the edge of the 1 hour. In fact, I was about to say, where is deleted once again? I hate when that happens. I was wondering, I was like, where the hell is my fair value gap on the 1 hour? There we go. Macro, here we are. Oops. Sorry. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,140. 18,1 Okay, so the dollar is still bearish, heavily bearish this hour. Dow is the front runner, clearly, still. And NQ, yeah, we're lagging behind. Out for a short. We swept a low here. Retrace back in. Let's see what the measurement is on that. Not quite 50%. 132, basically 133. Yeah, well, Templar, the Dow is, I'm sure you've noticed, the Dow is well ahead of all the other indices. All right, there's 133. Let's see now if it sells off. If it refuses to sell, then you've created a new breaker. A 3.5 minutes, 3.5 minutes until 11 o'clock. Okay, it's not swept that low yet. Made a new low. SMT. Okay. All right, we're at 11 o'clock. I'm going to go and get my last cup of coffee this morning. You guys just bear with me for 1 to 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Right. Hang on. All right. Still in the macro period. Looks like we've swept one low, then swept that low. Minute. All right, let's see if maybe it runs the target during this macro. Maybe the entry was the previous macro and the target achievement was the current macro. Okay. Economic calendar, weekly profiles. Mhm. Thank you, Queen. Yes, definitely everyone. If you have not liked the stream yet, go ahead and hit the like button. So far, we don't have very many. We only have 36 of them. All right, Sam. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, Templar. Catch you later. Okay. Macros over. Pretty uneventful. We had a sweep of a low during the macro period, but that was it. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, not a lot of price action happening over the last 20 minutes or so. Not much to talk about. Okay, so consequent encroachment is just below the swing high. So the swing high did pierce through 50%. We should get a breakout in the next 2 to 3 minutes, I'm expecting. All right, I'll drop down to the 1 minute. And this is what I'm saying. We should get a breakout soon. These candles are too symmetrical and too small for price to just continue that way. Okay, so we got a bounce from the dollar so far. The first 20 minutes of this hour is showing a nice bullish candle. Dow is not slowing down at all. It's already taken out the high from last hour and it's still bullish. And then we have small bullish candles from S&P and Nasdaq, but small in comparison to Dow. Break out to the upside. Okay. You might be right there, Sam, because I've noticed that none of the lows have been broken. But that could also mean this is the time to do so. All right, that was the first one to fall. Let's see what's next. All right, let's see if we get the equal lows to fall next, down at 18,112. Okay, let's see if this is also violated. Now we've had a sweep of this low. Okay, 50% retracement into a fair value gap. Let's see what that does. Good thing. Good move there. All right, TJ, take care, man. We'll see you later, and congrats on that last account. Sumit, I'll let one of the Apex traders answer that for you. Okay, let's see if this candle is able to push above and close above this trend line. I mean, it's a pretty weak trend line. It's only 2 points, but let's see. Okay, I think this trend line is not a trend. See if it reaches target on this candle. Yeah, close enough. So far, the high is 152 flat. I have this marked at 152.5, but there it is. Yeah. Target reached after 1 hour and 45 minutes. Ouch. And granted, that was 80 points, but that was a long time for 80 points. A lot of back and forth. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, check the frequently asked question page that's on their website. I'm sure they talk about payouts. Molly, good job. Hey, yeah, dollar's still pushing. Hopefully it pushes up and catches that 1 hour civvy just above it at 103.956. Hopefully that sends it south. All right, S&P is pushing again, which is good. The Dow is, man, the Dow was on a mission this morning. We did have a breakthrough the entire 1 hour fair value gap. Not a closure yet, but at least we got through it all. We didn't get a close above. Okay, except on the 1 minute. The 1 minute did deliver a close. Mhm. Oh man, I hear you, TJ. I have a very similar observation about social media. Not only is it addictive and uses a lot of your time without providing adequate benefits, it definitely can be too negative at times. Yeah, I try to ignore the negatives for sure. So far, I haven't been met with much. So the few little comments here and there, I've just kind of let them roll off me. But I have a very small footprint on social media. I can only imagine those who have far more followers and have a larger presence, how much negative feedback they get. Yeah, well, it's not only here, Sam. But yeah, you'll see people in the comments sometimes say something off base, but also on Twitter and things like that. I've seen comments where people have decided that they wanted to say whatever they wanted to say, and I'm not here to stop them, but ignoring them was the best I could do. uh, yeah, and that's what I've learned through life, Sam. Just getting older and maturing a bit is that like you don't know what people are going through, and just like you have bad days and you may say something that you probably regret or react to someone in a manner that wasn't appropriate. They're doing the same thing. They just may be in more pain, and so they're acting out even larger. So yeah, I just got to realize that people aren't exactly having a good time in life, and it's not my fault, but I also don't have to take it. Yeah, no problem, Molly. I hope to keep it that way. With your help, all of you guys' help, this channel has become exactly what I wanted it to be, and it's growing regardless of the speed it's growing, it is growing, and it's like-minded people here. So I hope that continues. And thank you for being a part of that. Yeah, I've heard some good quotes from Les Brown. I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good point. It's none of your business. That's all on them. And I like to, whenever I think back on the people that may not be on board or the people that may not like me, because the decision to start this channel was one that I had to work my way into because I'm not naturally extroverted. And so the one thing I had to realize was that there has never been any decision in the history of the world that had a unanimous vote that didn't include corruption of some kind. There's always going to be someone who's going to think the opposite direction or is going to prefer another option. Um, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right. And so to think that 100% of people would approve of me or would like my style is unrealistic. Yep. Yeah, me too, Robin. It's definitely been good for my development, both socially, but also trading wise. And it's been a good deal. There's no doubt about it. All right, macro is coming up in just a few seconds. Let's see what type of retracement we've had. Almost 50. I guess we can qualify that as a 50% retracement. I would like to see if it comes down to 125, even though that might be wishful thinking. Oh, that's great. I didn't realize that Cami referred you over to me. That's amazing. I thought you just found me somehow. Yeah, I'm at the. I need to catch one of his London sessions Sunday night. And drop by and say hello to him. I haven't been in his stream since I started this one. Yeah, Robin, I saw he said he's only doing London. I think Monday, so he'll do London on Monday, and then I think he does one other session maybe, and I think that's about it. Yeah, he seems to be busy doing some other things on the personal side. I guess he has a few business ventures he's into, and he's probably also wanting to further develop his trading. A max of 380 ticks so far. Yep. All right, let's see if we get down to 125. Mhm. Yep. Ladies, I would like to say that there are more of you joining the channel, or more of you that are watching. Let's see, now we're up to about 7%. And when we started, I mean, we were down at 2-3%. So it's at least double now. Great. Equal lows. Mm. Okay. So yeah, it does look like he's been grinding. I know he started his channel, I think January of last year. So he was doing a lot of posting and a lot of building up the community. And I think he also mentioned something about he and his wife are relocating to Australia sometime in the next year. Girl power. All right, let's see if we get to the 50% mark here, and then we get a rejection to take out these equal lows. Mm-hmm. 136. Strong. Okay. Way to end the hour. All right, it's 12 o'clock now. That ends our morning session. It was a nice candle to end it up on. But thanks to everyone for being here this morning and joining the morning session. We're going to break for an hour and we'll be back at 1300. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. And if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you get invitations and reminders for all future sessions. We'll be back in about 1 hour. So take care, enjoy, and I'll see you in a bit. Later.